Hello, my name is Aleksandra Dworska and I'm going to do interview with businesswomen. I speak with my guests about their businesses, about their successes and their difficulties. My guests also give you some tips or business advice that I hope will be helpful for you because this is idea of this channel. Today I will be speaking with Nina Kaufman. Hi Nina.
Hi, welcome. Thank you for having me on the show.
Nina, for me, is absolutely queen of business. Nina, please tell us about your business and why you are a queen of business.
I am a queen of business. So I'll tell you, I am the founder of a consulting firm called Business Exponential, which you can find at businessexponential.com. And one of the reasons that I am a queen of business is that I have been in the small business entrepreneurial space for over 20 years. I am an award-winning attorney. I've had commendation from Forbes magazine. I wrote a column for Entrepreneur. So I eat, breathe, sleep entrepreneurship and have now taken all of those legal talents and my experience with small business and turned it into consulting so that my clients can find a way to have a business that better integrates with their lives and gives them a lot more freedom.
Wow. Could you tell us about the favorite part of your job?
My favorite part is actually this part. It's the part of speaking to people like you, being able to share important tips about how to run a business where people can leverage systems and people and technology a lot better. And it's also sharing that education because business owners are so busy, but they don't often have the background and the training to do what needs to be done to grow their business successfully.
Thank you. Nina, so do you have any additional activities besides work?
Oh,
You're
God.
doing something else?
Yes, I do. And as you know, we met at a local chapter of BNI, that's Business Network International. And I am the vice president, soon to be president of Chapter 48, which is based in Manhattan in New York City.
That's great. Please tell us now about the biggest success and how you achieve this.
Only one?
You can say more.
I would say one of the biggest successes I had was working with a client who was a very, very talented interior designer. I mean, had designed homes for celebrities that you regularly see showing up on YouTube and Google and all of that. And one of the challenges that he had was that there were some blockages with his staff, that there was communication that was not working out well. And he was at a point where he was ready to fire everybody and possibly close down his business. So one of the things I did in going in and helping him was seeing where is a process not working so well, where might communication be enhanced, and how can everybody get on the same page with the information they needed. And once we did that, this was maybe within 4 months, there was an additional $100,000 in business and billings that he was able to process and bring right into his company. So that's a great success. You know what, there's another one. Can I tell you another story?
Okay,
Can I tell the second story? Because it's something that is near and dear to my heart. This was a client of a window installation business, and it was a family business. And one of the challenges was that he had taken it over from his father, and his mother was still in the business. And his father had run the company, and the reason I tell the story is that it's a generational issue. The father ran the company as business owners often did in those days, which was you never show a profit. You never show a profit, because if you show a profit, then you have to pay taxes on that profit. And that's a very different approach to business owners nowadays who, if they want to grow, you have to show a profit because you're not going to be able to attract investors. You're not going to be able to streamline the business. You won't be able to find a buyer for the business if you don't show a profit. So the son was having these wranglings with that generation and with the family to the point where he too was ready to close that business. But by helping him see what are some of the issues that the parents might be facing, some of the concerns and fears that they had, as well as some of the strategies that he could implement, he took that company from probably $1.5 million to close to $6 million in business. Now, it took a few years, but it helped him stay in business, stay the course, but also find a way to do it without having all of that burden of the old stuff in place. So those are two of my happiest successes.
Impressive. Nina, do you have any difficulties along this way?
Well, part of how I got into the work that I did was years ago I had been the founder of a law firm and I had a partner. And we grew to a certain extent, which was respectable. But after 10 years, there reached a point where, you know, what happens with relationships, you grow in different ways. And we grew in very different ways. So I went to a business valuation expert and I said, look, I gotta get out. I have to get out of this business. And I want my partner to buy me out. And I want to make a fair offer. I don't want to haggle and have this be prolonged. So here are our numbers. Here's what it's worth. Here's, there are figures, our marketing, our plans, projections. What do you think it's worth? So he looked at it and he took a deep breath, which is never good. And I remember it was a morning meeting because I can picture the cup of coffee on his desk and the steam coming off of it. And he kind of looked me in the eye and he said, well, you see this donut? So he picked up his breakfast donut. I'm looking at it. I said, yeah. He said, well, what you got is the hole. I said, what do you mean I've got a hole in a donut? I said, what does that even mean? He said, your business has no value. It can't function without you. It's too dependent on you and your partner. So if either one of you walks away, the business falls apart. And after 10 years, I had never gotten that lesson because they didn't teach us this stuff in law school. They didn't really talk about it in the continuing legal education programs. No one else that I had been surrounded by in all of the business networking things that I had done was even talking about exit strategy and value and what does it mean to build a business that can function without your having to micromanage it all the time. So I took that lesson, and as the valuation expert said, if you want to get out, the fastest way to do it is to close your doors. And that's what I had to do. I mean, imagine, I'm in a business for over 10 years, and my best option is to close my doors. And that's part of what inspired me to start Business Exponential, because I knew, once I picked myself up off the floor, that I wasn't the first business owner to do this. And I certainly was not going to be the last if this information didn't get out there. So that was a huge difficulty I had to overcome, really starting everything from nothing all over again. Oof. Oof.
Now we show that if you believe in yourself, if you believe in your skills, you can doing everything, and sometimes close the first doors and open the second.
Yeah, exactly. So I had to say, yes, I can start and close the door, but it really took a very strong support team as well. These are not, building a business isn't something you do completely on your own. You need the team, whether you need your employees, whether you need your outside vendors. Most importantly, it was so useful to have a peer group and to have a business coach and people to help keep me accountable to that new vision. Because otherwise it would have been very easy just to hole up in my office and get involved in a lot of activity without it being useful and strategic and really moving me forward.
You are definitely success woman and business woman. Could you tell us now about your plans for the future?
Well, plans for the future include building out my own team. So while currently I offer a lot of consulting and coaching to business owners directly, some of what I'm seeing is that there's an implementation piece. It's great to have the knowledge, and business owners can do only so much, but sometimes they need outside help with outside resources to get the work done. So my plans over the next few years are to build out that team so that I have those ready resources for them when it comes to putting together their operations manuals, or can make those introductions for profitability consultants and things like that. That's one piece of it. And the other is a really important recurring revenue piece for me, a little more in the nascent stage, but looking about how do I leverage technology and the power of the internet and digital information much more effectively.
Ina, could you give us the tips or business advice for people, for women who are going into business today?
Well, very often what I say to business owners, because they say, I'm so busy, I can't take on anything else. What I ask them to do is just for 2 weeks, it sounds really a lot, but all I ask you to do is track your time. Look at how you are spending every day, because each one of us only gets 24 hours. Oprah Winfrey gets the same 24 hours that you get. And look at some of the stuff she's able to do in 24 hours. So if you look at what you're doing in a 24-hour time frame and you want to see it over some period of time, what you may find is that your business may not be moving forward in the way you want because you keep getting pulled back into some of the busy work, some of what I call the D-list stuff. It's maybe necessary for the business, maybe it's not, but it's not necessarily urgent, and it's not the highest value for you and your talents. But you're not able to see that unless you track your time. So if you look and find, wow, you know what, I'm spending 3 hours a day answering emails, and 2 of those hours, I don't really, it's scheduling. Maybe if I had an assistant who could do that work, that would be helpful. Multiply that by, I'm here from the United States, I would say $200 an hour, and you're seeing it's costing you $800 a day if you're spending 2 hours on useless email by not having an assistant to maybe screen those things for you. So as I say, track your time, look through those things, and if you want other resources, my website, businessexponential.com, has a very robust blog. I'm also a podcaster. My Cash Out Big podcast has interviewed a lot of business owners and other advisors on how do you get more scale and leverage into your business so that it runs much more effectively and you can redefine your role within your company.
Nina, thank you so much for this interview. I hope that was inspiration also for you.
Thank you. And we'll see you at businessexponential.com. Thanks.
Bye.